So this is size 6 fly. For some people, not so big. This is size 12 fly. Arguably, we're getting into small size flies. For me, it's still on the big size, on the big side. Then we have 14 and so on and so on. And let's say that 16 is something that I consider relatively small fly. And this is 16, Tiemco 900 barbless hook. But sometimes people get crazy and they do even smaller than that. So let's say, and let me put this one in the vise. It's a bit tricky to do that. So this is size 32. Now let's see this. This is the hook gap of 16 and this is 32. And this is my attempt of weaving the fly on this hook and splitting the tail in two and having wing case cover just for fun, nothing else. It's just, my point is, when you're making small flies you need to adjust certain things, and in this video I'm going to explain how to secure CDC wing, in my opinion the best way and the easiest way to make very durable, impossible to pull out wing for caddis flies. So let's go straight into it. Now let me show you a neat trick how to secure CDC feathers on the top of the hook shank caddis style wings with minimal reps and maximum security. So I got a body that's small fur. It repels water well. It's hydrophobic sort of, because moles, they live underground. It's kind of moist surroundings, so they need to be protected. It can be applied some floatant on it, so it can add buoyancy as it is. Not literally, you need floatant as I said, but CDC is what will float this fly. So for this fly, this is size 16, I'll just use one small and two small feathers. Notice the shape, triangular, diamond shape. This one is very similar because all those barbs are going upwards and they are meeting at the tip, meaning that I will use all of them. What I do is I take the quill end here, hold it in my fingers, and I stroke those barbs up and I align them. What is the most important thing here is, in my opinion, is to use small feather first, because small feather will have thinner rachis. In return it will give you less bulk. But the color of the CDC feather, I think it's very important, and I like to use light color because I can see it better. So measure how long you want this feather, and as I was talking I just spun my thread counterclockwise to make it corded, and I'll just transfer hands and you will see thread will jump into my fingers here. So I'll just go, oops, pinch and loop, soft wrap, 2 reps, and then go up. Now check the wing, everything on the top where you want it, pull up so the thread which is corded will cinch into the material, into the rachis. It will secure it, it will bite into it. One more thread and then 2 locking wraps in front of it. Now what I like to do, so we have 3 reps, 2 reps in front, and that's it. Now it's time to finish the fly. For that you need flat thread, because flat thread will make better and more durable whip finish, and it's less likely, well, almost impossible to break the thread unless you use excessive force. So what I want to do, to make these butt ends stick up like so, and I will explain to you why. So go with your thread under those butt ends and push them backwards. Create a head, tighten the knot towards the rear end. It will cinch everything better. Now, as you can see, I used 5 reps to secure the wing. Whip finish knot I didn't count, and that's all. That's why I allowed myself minimal build up here, and maximum security. You can use this on bigger flies as well, but it's very important to use it on small flies because just makes sense, it's functional. So I want to cut this sort of elk hair caddis style head, small, and look at this. I pull like crazy and it doesn't go anywhere because thread bit into the rachis, and when I was placing those wraps, I didn't place one wrap on the top of another. I was placing them 1, 2, 3 consecutive adjacent wraps, and they were biting into the rachis. The knot lifted the butt ends up, locking here, so making this angle almost 90-degree angle. Even if you have 90 degrees or bigger angle, it's also okay. It's important that you lock rachis in place here and make it virtually impossible to pull out those feathers. On the other side, if you cut those butt ends close and cover them with thread, especially if you're using some lighter threads that you cannot pull so hard, on such small flies you can sometimes pull out, if you want to make neat small fly, you can pull out the feather. It's not as secure as this is. So it's just pure function over here. You have a small fly that will last almost forever, more or less until you break it. This one is virtually almost indestructible. So guys, thank you very much for watching and see you next time.